return of Bramble Pippington, everyone! Because I can't think of anything else to do, so that's what we're gonna do. It's the return of Bramble Pippington. Good lord, this music is loud. The whole thing is loud. Jesus H. Christ. Hang on, I'm gonna have to adjust this in the actual, like, audio setting. Good lord almighty. Open volume mixer. Let's turn this motherfucker down. And let's tweet out. And let's put that on the Discord so that people in Discord who weren't watching me before know what's going on. Sorry, I just went deaf. Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Okay. That's not quite so bad anymore. How does that sound, guys? Does it sound okay? Are you still deafened? I don't blame you if you are, because Jesus Christ. I bring that music down. Jesus Christ. Whew. I don't know about you guys, but that nearly killed me. No exaggeration, I almost died. Any subtitles? Subtitles are on. Okay. Alright, let's do it. Bring back the Brambly Pip Man! Alright then, Bramble Pippington is now here to solve a mystery. Let's get down to it. Let's get down to business to solve the mysteries. In memory of the Ukrainian Heavenly Hundred. Okay. We're starting off. Whoa, 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 whoa. Is that, okay, I don't want to get copyright claimed for that. Sorry, guys. I had to mute that. I might have to just turn music off. Because that sounds like some shit that I could get copyright claimed for. I did not want to risk getting copyright claimed for this shit. Because this sounds like some shit you get copyright claimed for. Okay. Fate of Black Peter. Oh, that's... What a name. What a name. I might have to just turn the music off entirely. Just to be safe. Okay. Oh god, look at the graphics in the back. This is the graphics at the highest settings! Oh dear. Pretty sure that's... I'm pretty sure that Mountain King is public domain, but... I'm sorry guys, I'm not gonna risk it. I'm turning all the music off. I don't want to risk it. I know that Mountain King is, public domain, but I don't want to risk everything else. It's still playing! What the fuck? So what was the point? Fuck you, game. Fine, if I get copyright claimed to lose my channel, then I lose my channel.
Holmes, will you stop that?
Damn you, Holmes! This is why I prefer your cousin, Bramble Pippington. Does it have an apply thing? Hang on. Let me check. No, it doesn't. Music is all the way down! Maybe if I turn the ambient volume down. Let's try that. Nope! Nope. Okay, well, fuck me, I guess. It's really dumb. I agree. Well. Damn it, Sherlock! What are you doing in here? Get the hell out of here so that your much more handsome cousin Bramble Pippington can come and take over.
Is that you, Watson?
Yes, of course it is. And you almost killed me.
Nonsense. I was aiming for the vases.
Blindfolded?
Watson, quiet, please. I'm trying to concentrate.
Confident step, clinking handcuffs. Policeman! Ninth step avoided. Inspector Lestrade.
Ah, Lestrade. What is it this time?
He can see me. Well, here it is, and it's a good one, Mr. Holmes. A gentleman by the name of Peter Carey, also known as Black Peter, has been murdered.
A sailor, most probably.
What happened here?
Oh, Mr. Holmes, how could you?
I
It's
thought
the
some of
only
my tennis were
exercise
rough.
I've had all week. A grateful client from Limoges sent me a vase collection this morning. I couldn't think of a better use for it.
Yeah,
You're
we
out
might
of
want to
your
shrink the
mind.
goal down. You're not wrong,
I
dude.
missed 4 out of 10.
Given you were blindfolded, that was very good. Can I have a try?
Am I the only sane one here?
I
Probably
suppose
so,
that
Watson.
is right, Inspector. A little brain work would be preferable now. Do please tell us more about Black Peter.
Peter Carey, born in 1845 and 50 years old. An ambitious sort, he achieved much success in seal and whale hunting around Scandinavia.
I'll shrink it after
Retired
this
in
cutscene, guys.
1884 with a small fortune. He invested his money in a property called Woodman's Lee, near Forest Row in Sussex. It was where he lived for 6 years, and where he was found dead yesterday.
Has the investigation already begun?
Yes and no. In fact, this crime is so mysterious that I would prefer you to join me down there.
Give me half an hour to prepare, Inspector.
Take your time and join me there. I have to go through the yard first. The merry men struck again.
What have they
Oh
done
my!
this time?
They robbed a powder reserve. I'll meet you at Woodman's Lee, Mr. Holmes.
I should help Mrs. Hudson here. I also have several appointments that I must keep this afternoon.
Watson's just
I shall
avoiding
go
Holmes at
alone
this
then.
point. Watson's just like, honestly, I'm just avoiding you at this point because I'm really, really pissed at you for trying to shoot me. Okay, let's shrink this goal. By the way, we have a subscriber goal going now. 25 subs, and I will do I'm gonna call it old school spotlight stream. Basically, just, you know, old school games. I'll be doing like little bits of them, just kind of going through them because we talked about that in my last stream with Kayla. We talked about doing that. Move this tip jar over just a tad, also while I'm here. I'm gonna get this a little more into the corner because I've been making thumbnails out of my screenshots lately, and yeah, that'll make that a little bit easier. Sometimes the tip jar gets in the way. Okay, now. Oh wow, dude! Thanks for sticking around. Love Angel, thank you very much for gifting that sub. Why is that not counting? We're at 2 subs today because Bungie resubbed, and resubs are not guaranteed for me like they are for other people, so I'm counting resubs. I think they might be counting new subs. So we're at 2 today. I'll keep track of it. All right. Tab to open the casebook and check your current progress in the investigation. So we will investigate the murder of Peter Carey, inspect the crime scene at Woodman's Lee, and select a suit to wear using your personal wardrobe, and join Lestrade at Woodman's Lee. Inspector Lestrade has paid a visit to Baker Street, where he relates to Holmes the grotesque affair that involved the former captain known as Black Peter. Holmes then promptly returned to his room and called upon his far more handsome cousin Bramble Pippington to handle this case. And handle this case I shall. I shall handle it most thoroughly.
We've got a live one.
Oh yeah, it's only counting live ones. New subs. That's okay, we're at 3. Thank you again for gifting that sub, Love Angel. It's very awesome. Cosmorian, enjoy your new emotes. Now, let's see here. Peter Carey, also known as Black Peter, was born in 1845 and so 50 years old. He achieved great success in whale hunting in Scandinavia. He retired in 1884 and eventually moved to Woodman's Lee. Well then, Woodman's Lee, I shall Woodman see you very soon. So saith Bramble Pippington. I am so very clever. But first, we must don ourselves with the appropriate outfit befitting our stature. Morning gown? I'm afraid not. It is well past noon. A sailor outfit? Perhaps indeed. But let us tie up some more loose ends before we make any decisions. An unbuttoned suit? Why, that looks
wow,
rather...
dude, thanks for sticking around.
Looks rather crass, if I may say so myself. Love Angel, thank you again for gifting that sub to Cutie Cup. Cutie Cup, welcome back into the... Shut up, phone! What on earth are you? Bramble Pippington doesn't know what you are. Bramble Pippington lives in the Victorian era. A casual suit? Bramble Pippington is anything but casual, but he may make an exception in this case. A black suit. Well, we are investigating a gentleman known as Black Peter. Perhaps it would be appropriate. We also have a brown suit. That seems almost as if we're encouraging everyone around us to play a brown note. A green suit? What is this? A game of Clue? It might very well be a game of Clue. Good lord. Look at all of these outfits that I have. Bramble Pippington has quite a few extra outfits. Well then. I believe we shall go with our rather nice black suit. This is rather fetching, in fact. Now, to the makeup table. Bramble Pippington is man enough to admit that he wears makeup. Now let us test out different hairstyles. It would seem that some of these are locked. In fact, Bramble Pippington's favorite hairstyle seems to be locked. This is quite unfortunate. But Bramble Pippington can always go in his trusty top hat. And he very well might have to. It seems to be the only hat that is available to him. Well then, Bramble Pippington shall go with much haste and with quite a lovely look upon him. Any glasses that we can wear? It would seem not. How about facial hair? Damn it, Bramble Pippington has been working on these hairstyles, on this facial hair for months. I've spent many a month seeking out and creating the perfect formula that would grow and shorten my hair at will. And now I find it was all for naught. Very well, clean shaven we shall go. Onward, everyone! Bramble Pippington has much work to do, and much work he shall be doing. Tally-ho, madam!
Oh, what a mess! What a terrible mess!
Indeed, my rather rapscallion of good look. Do you guys see do you guys see the glitching in the back? I swear to God, that's just the game, because I have these on the highest settings. So, anyway. Yes, indeed, that rapscallion of a cousin of mine, Mr. Holmes, is quite the rapscallion, is he not? But not me. I am Bramble Pippington, a good law-abiding citizen. I shall be off to Woodman's Lee. If you see Holmes, then let him know that he is a failure to the family and we are all greatly ashamed of him. Tally-ho, everyone! Yes, Bramble Pippington does like a bit of reading to soothe his nerves and also to exercise his mind. It is like a whetstone for the mind. There's so much glitching! It's the game! The game's doing it!
Mr. Holmes, I'm over here. Come on.
Ah, hello, Inspector Lestrade. Now, tell me more about all of this. Concentrate your attention on finding details that others are inclined to overlook. Footprints! Let us inspect them now. Bramble Pippington wastes no time.
Footprints appear to be quite large.
Well, you know what they say about gentlemen with large feet. Ho ho ho! There are unidentified footprints left recently on a patch of wet earth at Woodman's Lee. They may have been left by the murderer. Perhaps I could find a pair of boots that would match them. They are still a bit smaller compared to Bramble Pippington's boots. Ho 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 ho.
It seems that the garden was well maintained.
Well then, we shall be polite to this dead individual and walk through the pathway. Now, my cousin Holmes would probably just tromp right on through the garden, but that is because he is quite the uncouth character. But not Bramble Pippington. Bramble Pippington has much couth. Indeed, a bountiful amount of
When
couth.
will you remove my husband's body? It's sacrilegious to leave him here like this.
As soon as we can, Mrs. Carey, I assure you. Allow me to introduce you to Mr. Sherlock Holmes. He's a detective. No doubt you've heard of him. I'll wait for you in front of the cabin, Mr. Holmes.
My condolences, Mrs. Carey.
Thank you, Mr. Holmes.
Right, well, my name is actually Bramble Pippington, but Lestrade seems to have a difficult time telling me from my much uglier and far more uncouth companion and cousin, Mr. Sherlock Holmes. But I am actually Bramble Pippington. I'm realizing that I'm kind of giving Sherlock Holmes this, he's got multiple personality disorder, is what I'm realizing. But Bramble Pippington is indeed far better than Sherlock Holmes. Now, madam, did you see anything unusual on the night of the... Oh, well, I guess we should probably look her over first. We have a cameo here. A Catholic rosary. Gardening gloves. It would appear she's the one who maintains the garden. A crested tit. Bramble Pippington's favorite type of tit. And a birdhouse. It would appear that she is the one who maintains this impeccable garden. Now, aren't you all glad that we showed a bit of tact and demonstrated our great amount of couth by not tromping through the garden? Anyway, madam, was there anything unusual on the night of the murder?
Madam, can you tell me if you saw or heard anything unusual upon the night of the murder?
Yes, Sherlock, that's what I just
2 o'clock
said.
in the morning, I heard a terrible scream. But I thought nothing of it then. He would scream all the time when he was drunk.
Can you please tell me what occurred on the evening of the murder?
Well, Peter got drunk in the evening. He was in such a terrible temper. Usually whenever that happened, he'd stay all night drinking in his cabin before passing out.
And when was this body found, madam?
Do you remember at what time you found your husband's body?
In the morning, at around 7 o'clock, I noticed the cabin door was open, but I didn't go in to take a look, for I knew my husband would not have liked it. At around 10 o'clock, I dared to glance in through the door and... oh dear.
Madam, you are to be commended for your dedication to respecting the privacy of your husband. Most people do not do that nowadays.
Was your husband accustomed to receiving visitors?
Oh no, I don't think so. I mean, he didn't really have many friends. We lived quite an isolated life here, after his retirement.
Oh, madam, we all know a little something about isolation. We all know a little something about isolation, let me tell you. Now, is there a gardener?
The garden is very large and well maintained. Do you employ someone to look after it?
It is true, there is a lot of work, but my husband took care of it himself.
Everything will be... Okay, listen, look, game, I just want to let you know. The phrase "everything will become easier" is the shit you say to a terminally ill patient as you're slowly placing the pillow over their fucking face. I don't want, I'm just saying, game, that's kind of what this sounds like.
You have indeed suffered a great loss, Mrs. Carey. Nevertheless, I believe it will be less of a burden for you soon.
Yes, life with Peter was never easy, but he was still my husband.
He was different, wasn't he, when you first met him upon your return from Plymouth?
Yes, Mr. Holmes. Oh my goodness, but how do you know about that?
Because I'm Bramble Pippington. Choose the evidence that confronts the statements of a character in order to continue the investigation. Okay. Alright, so, Judith Carey is a woman with an uneasy life due to her unhappy marriage with Peter. She's a very religious Christian Catholic woman who undertook a St. James Way pilgrimage when she was... I guess it's the rosary that tells me about that, or the profile thing. The garden and the fields are well kept. A capable gardener works here. Footprints, and... all that. Judith's from the country, somewhere near the ancient pine woods of Inverness and Strathspey in Scotland, where the crested titbird can be found. She is religious and undertook a St. James Way pilgrimage to the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela when she was a young woman. So, pilgrimage.
You undertook a pilgrimage to the Cathedral of Santiago de Compostela when you were young. That much is evident from the rosary in your hand. The shortest route for the pilgrim from England to Spain is from Plymouth. I believe that you met Peter Carey as a young sailor there, and you married him soon afterwards.
That is indeed what happened, Mr. Holmes. How extraordinary.
This fucking liar. Bramble Pippington is feeding him information just so that you all know. He only knows all these things because I'm quietly whispering them into his ear. Like this. Holmes! Holmes, hear me now! You're a crested tit and not the good kind. I'm gonna turn up the voice volume just a little bit. Alright.
Oh, wow, dude. Thanks for sticking around.
Love Angel, thank you very much for gifting that. You are incredibly kind. I think that puts us at 4 subs for today. 4 or 5. I'll check.
Mr. Holmes?
I'll check at the end of all this. But I am counting them. I'm counting the resubs too. Because it would be rude not to. Now then, Inspector Lestrade. You stay right here for just a moment while I carefully investigate anything else that needs careful investigation, for that is what I do as Bramble Pippington. We'll need some more evidence to be able to match these footprints.
Peter Carey's body is inside the cabin. We took care not to touch anything.
You did well, Inspector Lestrade. Bramble Pippington is quite proud of you.
The door is locked.
Wait just a moment, Mr. Holmes, and I'll open it. I locked it yesterday to ensure that no one should enter the cabin and tamper with the evidence.
Indeed, a smart move, Mr.
Good thinking.
Hello, hello, hello.
What is it, Lestrade?
It seems to me that someone has tried to force it, Mr. Holmes.
Let me see.
Well, it would seem that some other rapscallion has attempted an unauthorized entry into this cabin. Well, not on the good Inspector Lestrade's watch. Well done, Inspector. Yes, this is a door. Good thing we had that, like, super, good thing we had, like, fucking eagle senses to let us know that this was a door. I'm really glad that we have that sixth sense to let us know these things. This is why I'm the professional inspector around here, everybody.
These scratches are fresh. You're right. Someone tried to force open the door.
I swear these scratches were not here yesterday.
Our mysterious visitor came here last night.
Well, he's not the man for the job. This lock is not a difficult one.
Perhaps he did not have the right tool.
But I, on the other hand, do have the right tool. And no, chat, the tool is not my penis. All of you, get your heads out of the gutter right now. Heads out of the gutter, immediately. All of you.
What a terrible way to die.
Well, it doesn't really matter how you go. What matters is that you're gone. Bramble Pippington is quite the philosophical gentleman. Thank you all very much.
The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn for the years 1878 to 1884. Peter Carey was her captain. Harpoons for hunting whales.
Let us see what's in this chest. We will look at literally everything before we actually look at the body, for that is the Bramble Pippington way.
Old navigation instruments, nothing interesting.
I beg to differ, Holmes. These tools were the tools that, in skilled hands, would guide an entire ship full of men from one end of the world all the way to the other. Bramble Pippington respects the history, the stories, the absolute level of skill that must have been used in order to properly utilize these tools. Bramble Pippington understands just how important tools like these are, and they are quite interesting to Bramble Pippington. However, they likely have nothing to do with our case. Anyway, moving on. Shall take these
Peter
boots.
Carey's boots. They look to be a size 8.
Now that we have these boots, it means that we can test them against the footprints. But first, we will continue our exploration of the cabin itself. 2 dirty glasses and a tobacco pouch.
The initials PC have been crudely burned. A sailor's work.
This very likely belonged to our victim, Mr. Peter Carey. See, that ability to figure out simple clues like that, that's why I'm paid the big bucks. That's why Bramble Pippington is the greatest detective ever.
This aroma is familiar, but to recognize it, I must construct my associations in one picture.
Rotate and move the elements to form a clear picture of aromatic associations. I think I just have to... Oh, I have to... Okay. Alright, so we gotta move... Okay, now it's rotating. Or now it's moving. Okay. Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Alright, this looks to be the end point, so let's just... Oh, dear. Okay. Here maybe? It'll rotate the entire thing, it looks like. Okay, so like this, I think. And then... Oh god. It's a perspective thing. I hate perspective. Oh god, yeah, it's a perspective. Oh god. Like this, and then this goes here, and this like that, maybe? And then this goes... Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Over here, that. I'm so terrible with perspective. This is like my worst nightmare. But Bramble Pippington shall persevere, for that is what Bramble Pippington does. It is the Bramble Pippington way. Exit this part, your progress will not be saved. Yeah, let's just... I think I might need to come back to this. Let's examine the
Someone
glasses.
drank from this glass recently. Rum, a sailor's drink. It seemed that Captain Carey was enjoying a drink before he met his death.
Seems like he was also enjoying some company before he met his death. Okay. Let's try again. I think I did have everything that I needed to solve this, so let's try again.
This arose.
Alright. Try to get these immovable objects kind of in place. Seems to be this way. Try to kind of focus on lining that up. Or at least lining them up as best we can. This is an anchor, so that goes... Oh! Maybe... Nope, 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 nope. Nope, this way? Okay. This way, maybe? Like that? Okay, okay, okay. It's not an anchor, it's part of the sails. Okay, alright, alright. This goes here. Come on now, that's practically in place. Come on now, game. Don't be this way to me. Don't do this to me. Don't do it. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. Goes right about here. Aha! We did it!
This is a coarse tobacco, quite strong and very popular among sailors.
Everyone! Through all of that rigmarole, we have discovered that this sailor quite enjoys tobacco that is most often used by sailors. Aren't you all glad that we took the time to do all this? It was definitely worth the time. Bramble Pippington definitely thinks this was worth it. It seems that we have a suspiciously empty space and an outline in the dust.
This place is not covered with dust, like the rest of the shelf. An object was taken from here. It was larger than a book. A box or a small chest, perhaps.
But was it bigger than a bread box, Mr. Holmes? That's the real question, see? That's why you will never be as clever and as handsome as I, Bramble Pippington. You do not think to ask these questions. And let us investigate Mr. Carey.
The weapon fully penetrated the body. The force of the blow was immense. Peter Carey was fully dressed. He was not caught by surprise. It is possible that he knew his murderer. This man is in his 50s, yet he still looks quite strong.
So it would take quite a powerful individual to be able to overpower him in this way.
Peter Carey was impaled to the wall by a whaling harpoon.
Yes, yes. Peter Carey was born in 1845 and was 50 years of age. He was a daring and successful seal and whale hunter. He commanded the whaler Sea Unicorn of Dundee for many successful expeditions. In 1884, he retired and traveled for some years, and for the remaining 6 years of his life, he lived at Woodman's Lee. The outline in the dust on one of Carey's shelves looks as if something has been recently removed. It is larger than a box. It is larger than a book. A box or a small chest, perhaps. A tobacco pouch made from sealskin, which was on the table inside Peter's cabin. The initials PC have been crudely burned into it. A sailor's work. Peter Carey's boots. They appear to be size 8. Alright, everyone! I believe that I might know what has taken place here. However, I do need to examine a few more things before I know for certain. But I think I may know what happened here. A sea knife.
This wooden handle is plain and solid. This blood is from the pool underneath the dead body. Peter Carey tried to defend himself with this knife, but he did not succeed.
Obviously, obviously he didn't succeed. And we also have a notebook. Well, maybe if we're lucky, somewhere in the notebook, Peter wrote down, "This is who killed me."
JHN are probably the initials of the owner of this notebook.
Isn't it always nice whenever they leave such obvious clues for us?
The pattern of the blood stain indicates that the notebook was not lying on the floor prior to the crime, but it was dropped into the pool of blood after the death of Peter Carey.
So, good possibility that our murderer ran Peter Carey through with the harpoon and at some point dropped their notebook on the ground as they were leaving the scene. Interesting. Interesting indeed. Yes, it's all coming together. I seem to have something else to explore. I've already examined the corpse, so I don't need to do that. But there's something else in this pool of blood that I haven't found yet. Probably something in, something in the notebook. Oh, we can open it, okay. Appears we have some abbreviations here.
These abbreviations mean something, but what?
Find a pair of related clues and they will form a deduction. Red color signifies an unachievable clue combination. Right then. A leather notebook with the initials JHN. It is stained with blood, which indicates that it was dropped into the pool of blood after the murder. We also have a break-in attempt. Several unsuccessful attempts were made to break in, according to the scratches around the lock. I believe that these are things that we can link together. So we must make an ambush to see if the break-in attempt will be repeated, because obviously, whoever was attempting to break into the cabin did so in the desire to remove this notebook so that it would not be found.
Someone was here yesterday. They attempted to force the door to gain entry.
So we will have to organize an ambush, and in doing so, we shall find our killer, I believe. But first, let us inspect these boot prints and see if they match up to Mr. Carey's boots.
These boots don't match the footprints.
It would appear that our other footprints are far larger than Mr. Carey's boots. How inadequate he must feel by that. It means there was another man at Woodman Lee. Organize an ambush with Lestrade. The mysterious intruder might return tonight to finish out what he has planned. Before we do that, one more quick look around this place. I believe there's something here that we haven't yet examined yet.
The tooth of a sperm whale, probably from one of Peter Carey's catches.
Reaper with no name Bramble Pippington will happily take your lurk, and Bramble Pippington thanks you from the bottom of his Bramble Pippington heart for your lurk. Alright then, everyone, gather round. Bramble Pippington has solved this case. I am well aware of who our murderer was. Now, it would seem to be very, very clear that whoever the murderer was, Mr. Carey must have already known him. Well, they sat down together and had themselves a glass of rum with each other. Now, rum is known to be a drink that is most favored by those who are on the seas. And that gives us quite a large clue as to who our killer is. Now, the two of them had a discussion with one another. They had their drinks. Everything was going well. However, at some point, things turned quite dark. For you see, our murderer happened to glance over here. And our murderer noticed these sperm whale teeth next to whatever sat on this box, both of which sent him into quite the state of fury. In a rage, this other individual stood up and started having a confrontation with Mr. Carey. He indicated there was something on the shelf that he desired, or that rightfully belonged to him, and Mr. Carey said, "No, it is mine." Incensed, our killer then grabbed the harpoon off of the rack, turned, and ran it through Mr. Carey, who attempted to defend himself, However, his killer was far stronger than he was, as evidenced by the fact that he wore much bigger boots and was able to overpower such a strong man. Now, I know what you are all thinking, but who on earth would have done such a thing? Well, obviously, and see, this is why I am the great Bramble Pippington, because I solve crimes like this. And I know things, I know many a thing. It is what I do. I drink and I know things. I have surmised, through all of these clues, I have managed to deduce that our killer is a sperm whale. The sperm whale was no doubt large enough, the only being large enough to overpower Mr. Carey, and also run a harpoon directly through his entire body, something the sperm whale found to be quite poetically appropriate. The sperm whale came to speak to Mr. Carey in an attempt to make peace with Mr. Carey, because Mr. Carey had once hunted his father, and his father had also taken something very precious of Mr. Carey's. He took Mr. Carey's testicles. There is a reason why Mr. and Mrs. Carey have been married for so long and yet have no children, and it is because Mr. Carey has no testicles with which to father children, because the sperm whale took them. So, our murderer, the son of that very same sperm whale who was killed in retaliation for what he did, came in order to have a drink and tried to set aside old grudges. Mr. Carey at first was in favor of this, but then, my children, what happened next was, the young sperm whale then happened to glance over at this shelf, whereupon he saw the 2 teeth and also the box. But what was in that box, you wonder? The box was open and on display, for it was Peter Carey's greatest treasure. In the box were the testicles of the sperm whale who took Peter Carey's testicles. The testicles of the sperm whale that he killed in retaliation, and indeed, the testicles of the killer's father. The killer was quite incensed, because he had always wanted a sibling, but he was never able to have it, both because of the death of his father and also because of the removal of the testicles. So incensed, the young sperm whales are known to be they're quite rambunctious, and they're also quick-tempered. And so, in a fit of rage, he grabbed the harpoon, and in a moment of poetic justice, he rammed Peter Carey through with it. And then, he took his father's testicles as a trophy. However, he left behind that notebook. The notebook contains the abbreviations and the addresses of every other member of that whaling crew, who the young whale had originally intended to merely go and make peace with, but now he is on a mission for revenge. He shall hunt them all down, and he shall kill them all. And that is what happened here, everyone. I know you never would have guessed it was a sperm whale, Mr. Crystal. That's because you are not Bramble Pippington. Bramble Pippington knows things. Bramble Pippington sees things that other people do not think to look for. Ah, Bungie Fox, Pippington, good sir, I've got it. It was an eco-terrorist. Oh, Bungie Fox. I understand why you might think that, but again, you must always look at all the clues, not just the ones that verify what you already think has happened. See? There's the sperm whale. That's the one who took his testicles.
Hammerfest.
Yes, Hammerfist was indeed his name.
Dundee. It's a whaling map.
I'm sure you're all very happy that you were able to learn more about this gruesome murder thanks to Bramble Pippington. Now, Inspector Lestrade, we have a sperm whale to catch. I want you to look for any large bodies of water, massive fountains, pools perhaps, or even, well, I don't know if the sperm whale would deign himself to swim in the Thames, but just in case, let's check the Thames.
Well, Mr. Holmes, what do you think?
It was a
I
sperm
think that
whale.
we are lucky.
And why is that?
Because of last night's attempted break-in.
Oof. You've lost me.
I do that quite
It is
often.
very probable that whoever came here hoped to find the door open. They tried to force it with a knife blade, but they failed. What will they do? Why, return tonight, when they will be better prepared.
Aha! So what do you propose?
We shall remain on the outside, near the window, where we stand the best chance of catching sight of our visitor. Well, gentlemen, ready your pistols. We have a long night ahead of us.
A long night of brambling and pippingtoning as we search for that terrible sperm whale murderer. Not sure if we're supposed to just like find a place to hang. Actually, let me go talk. I'll go talk. I must now go and speak to his wife and inform her of the discoveries that I have made. Madam, have you seen any sperm whales around here recently? Was Peter a smoker, good madam?
Is this your husband's tobacco pouch?
I'm not sure. It might be, but he hadn't smoked in a very long time.
Or perhaps he wanted to have another pipe with... He wanted to smoke the peace pipe with this person that he thought was there to make amends with him. Remember, this was originally meant to be a journey of burying the hatchet.
Your husband's private papers. Do you know where they are?
There was a small tin box, barely larger than a book. He kept his papers there. It should be somewhere in his cabin.
Oh, is that where he kept his porn? I think that's where he kept his
Madam.
porn, y'all. I'm pretty sure that's where he kept his porn. Just saying, I think that's where he kept his porn. Well then, Inspector, it is time for us to find ourselves a sperm whale.
We need to find a good place for an ambush. Perhaps behind Carey's cabin, near the window.
A wonderful idea, Inspector Lestrade! I see that spending time with me, the great Bramble Pippington, has, exercised your mind a bit. Well done. Certainly not going over there, I can tell you that right now. We'll have to tuck ourselves
This
over here.
looks like the perfect hiding place.
Didn't you play this one? Nope, I've not played this one. I couldn't have because I literally just bought it, like, the other day. I bought it during the winter sale, so... This is Bramble Pippington, you see, Gas Guardian. Bramble Pippington has returned, and he shall solve the murder of the case of the sperm whale murderer.
Shh. Did you hear that?
I must say, this gentleman is awfully light-footed for a sperm whale. It's smaller than I expected as well.
There's someone there. I'm gonna collar him.
I'll be right behind you.
Police! Hold it right there.
Please hold it right there. Bramble Pippington! Hold it right here!
All right, my fine fellow. Who are you and what are you doing here?
He's
The
obviously a
detectives
sperm
are
whale in,
supposed-
in
You
disguise.
imagine that I'm connected with the death of Captain Carey. I assure you I'm innocent.
Innocence? And what are you doing in his cabin?
Shall I tell you? You came to retrieve what you had lost after killing Peter Carey, but we were here, waiting for you.
What is your name?
John Hopley Nelligan, but I didn't.
Do you deny that you came here yesterday?
No, but yes, it's just that I couldn't.
I'm tired of this. Off we go to the yard. Tomorrow, I'll see that you're put in front of the judge.
What? But you can't. I'm not. It's a terrible mistake.
Enough. You can explain all of that to the judge. You're coming with me to the yard.
But
In light of recent events, it seems evident that your coming here was unnecessary. All the same, I'm very grateful to you, Mr. Holmes.
You are welcome, Inspector. But please don't be too hard on our young fellow. I would like to question him tomorrow morning.
Indeed, he seems awfully small for a sperm whale. Even the child of a sperm whale. Yes, Bramble Pippington's sixth sense seems to be activating in this moment. Now we shall interrogate our suspect, and also examine his belongings. And also, we must learn how on earth he managed to fit in those very thin trousers, despite being a sperm whale. It's quite impressive, really.
These are the suspect's belongings. The notebook that we found on Peter Carey's cabin floor.
Yes, Phoenix, we have come to the conclusion. We have properly deduced that the killer is in fact a young sperm whale, the son of the sperm whale who Peter Carey once killed and also removed the testicles of in retribution for the time when the sperm whale ate Peter Carey's own testicles off. It was a whole thing. I did an entire speech about it. It was quite dramatic and really, really cool to watch, I must say.
These abbreviations mean something. But what?
Seems we need some more evidence to understand this. Let's take a look at this ring. If it starts whispering to us, do not put it on. It might turn you invisible. From R. Dawson to my friend and partner, 1883.
And partner, 1883. From R. Dawson. To my friend, Dawson. I've seen this name before. Perhaps my archive holds the answer.
It would seem that we will need to take a look into the archives.
A handkerchief with the initials JHN. A pocket knife. It was used to force the door of Peter Carey's cabin.
I have to search some archives to find out a little bit more about that engraving. And we have some dialogue with that knife and also about the ring. I believe Bramble Pippington feels that what we need to do now is return post-haste to Baker Street and inspect those archives. We need to go into this interrogation knowing as much as possible. Hello, Watson, how are you? Ah, and it is little Toby! Hello, Toby!
Brave Toby. The best nose in the British Empire.
Who's a good boy, Toby? Who's a good boy? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. The best boy ever. Right, anyway, sorry you all had to see that blatant unprofessionalism from Bramble Pippington. However, Bramble Pippington simply cannot help himself. Oh, he's such a good boy, yes. No. We're going to focus. Focus. Right, archives.
This is where I keep my post.
Archives. Must focus on archives. Let us search for this Dawson individual. Where would we find... What would be the best way to find out? From R. Dawson to friend and partner 1883. I don't believe it'll be anything in chemistry. Oh, there we go. Newspapers. 1883. Dawson and Neeligan are bankrupt. Well, well, well. Dawson and Neeligan Investment Fund bankrupt, Neeligan missing. The Dawson and Neeligan Investment Fund, a regional banking institution used in Cornwall, has declared bankruptcy as a result of heavy losses in its loan portfolio and has accordingly been assigned for liquidation. It was the 23rd largest bank in Britain, and its bankruptcy was the second largest on record. The liquidation of the company is a pure catastrophe for many Cornwall families. Joshua Neeligan, one of the bankers, has since mysteriously disappeared. He was last seen aboard his yacht preparing for departure to Norway. Neeligan is wanted both by the police and his creditors. Perhaps this Neeligan is indeed our sperm whale. Or perhaps it is Mr. Dawson.
Here it is. Now I begin to understand that young man's story, but I am still unclear as to what connects him with the murder. It is time to ask him.
Indeed we shall ask him. We shall ask him post-haste. Back to Scotland Yard, everyone! We shall have a talk with this young man who is possibly a sperm whale in a very, very good disguise. Where is he, officer? Where is the sperm whale? I mean, the young man.
Mr. Holmes?
Right, let us speak to this young man. Again, you look awfully small for a sperm whale. Even a young sperm whale. Tell me about Dawson and Neeligan.
I have heard the story of Dawson and Nelligan, the West Country bankers.
Yes, Joshua Nelligan was my father.
I am aware that it had a bad ending. When the bank failed, it ruined half the families of Cornwall, whereupon Joshua Nelligan disappeared.
My father was under extraordinary pressure. Dawson had retired. I was only 10 years of age at the time, but it was still old enough to feel the shame that befell our family. My father was convinced that he could pay off all his debts if the creditors gave him time. He set sail for Hammerfest in Norway in his small yacht just a few days before an arrest warrant was issued. He left my mother a list of the securities he was taking. No word was ever heard from him again. We believe that his vessel went down, taking with it everyone and everything on board.
Thank you for the story, Mr. Nelligan. At last, we are making some progress.
Let's also take a look at you, good sir. A shabby cap. Patch upon the shoulder of his jacket. And yet the fabric itself is quite expensive. With rather elaborate buttons. The sleeves are short, indicating that he has outgrown this jacket a long time ago. His hands are calloused and rough, indicating that he works for a living. He also carries many scars. He must work a lot with his hands. He also has a very thin neck, which is apparently very important. Rather thin neck you've got there, my friend. Yes, indeed, a rather thin neck for a sperm whale. Now tell me about the notebook.
Does this notebook belong to you?
Yes. But where did you find it? I did not know... I thought I'd lost it at the hotel.
What do these abbreviations mean?
Oh, no. I beg you, I can't. If I told you, it would only make things worse.
But I will find out eventually, Mr. Nelligan.
Kids, you're sitting in Scotland Yard. It can't get much worse than this, I'm gonna be honest with you.
The sea knife was found near Carrie's body. Tell me, Mr. Nelligan, Did Mr. Carey try to defend himself or to attack you with it?
I don't know. I didn't kill anyone.
Who said anything about murder, young Oh, right, I've been talking about murder, like, right from the start. Oh, that could have been quite bad for you. I would have assumed that you had made a confession and, you know, what with there not being any cameras anywhere, the DA would have simply taken that confession and taken my word for it. Oh, that is the downside of Victorian times, my friend. No cameras to keep us accountable. I mean, granted, in the modern day, cameras don't keep us accountable anyway, but, you know, at least nowadays we get to all pretend. We all get to play a big old game of pretend as if the cops are accountable for their actions or something. Anyway, what was I saying? Let's talk about this gold ring.
The police seized this valuable ring from you. Whose is it?
I didn't steal it from anyone. It has always belonged to me.
It's always belonged to me. No, it does not, because the ring's engraving indicates that it belongs to the partner of our Dawson. And it was also given in 1883. I don't know if you're quite old enough, good sir. Approximately 19 years old. He was raised in wealth, but after the desertion of his father 10 years ago, he and his family fell into poverty. He worked to earn money by cleaning fish. Despite undertaking such manual work for a considerable time, Nilligan remains physically weak.
The ring's date of engraving is many years ago. You would have been a child then, hardly in any position to receive such an item from a partner.
Now tell me about the ring's owner, or I will make this very unpleasant for you. It's already quite unpleasant, but it will make it worse.
So, Mr. Nelligan, who is the true owner of the ring?
The ring is mine.
Bullshit! Smacks him across the face. It's not yours. Oh, no. Select the correct answer.
So, Mr. Nelligan, who is the
Oh, I guess
true
at least I get
owner
to
of
try
the ring?
again.
The ring is mine.
John Nilligan is wearing an expensive but worn and ill-fitting jacket that had previously belonged to somebody else, most likely his father. Probably the fact that he's wearing his father's jacket. Yep.
No, Mr. Nelligan. I believe that the ring had belonged to your father.
Oh, but how do you know?
The jacket you are wearing is made of an expensive fabric that only a man of exceptional wealth could afford. You do not seem to me to be a rich man, Mr. Nelligan.
Damn, getting
Furthermore,
classist up
the
in here,
garment
Holmes.
is ill-fitting. It is quite clear that it belonged to someone else, most probably your father. With your father gone and taking with him the family's wealth, as a little boy you had to find yourself a manual job, and it was most probably cleaning fish. You cut your hands often while working. I can tell from the scars.
I'm speechless, Mr. Holmes. It all happened exactly as you say.
Interesting. Joshua Nelligan and Peter Carey were both at sea in Norway. There is definitely some connection between Peter Carey and Joshua Nelligan's disappearance.
John Nilligan seems not to be a usual thief. What is his role in all of this? And ship's log for the year 1883 might put some light on the connection between Peter Carey and Nilligan's father. I believe that I may have to adjust some of my beliefs on this crime, my friends, but that's alright. Bramble Pippington is not above adjusting things as he learns new evidence. That is, after all, the mark of a good detective. So, notebook with bloodstain. Peter Carey was armed with his knife, but he did not have time to use it. The murderer acted quickly and instinctively. Peter Carey's body was impaled to the wall with a harpoon through the chest like a butterfly. find out whether an unskilled and untrained man could use a harpoon well enough to kill by fully piercing a body. Oh no, Mr. Crystal, we never said that it wasn't the sperm whale. We merely need to make some adjustments to our theories.
I need to stage a reconstruction. I'm sure that Watson would be happy to oblige.
Holmes has got that, like, that sound in his voice as if he's, like, secretly saying, always wanted to run that fucker through with a harpoon. Anyway. Good sir, one more thing that we need to test out. I'd like to take this fat measurer and measure your fat. As I believe that you may not actually be the sperm whale that we seek. Indeed, it is another that we are looking for. Alright, so let us head back to Baker Street. We have some archives we must look through, as well as a experiment to set up. Break-in attempts and Neeligan's notebook. But he wasn't looking for the notebook, is the thing. There's also a tin box in the cabin, not much larger than a book. Peter Carey had forbidden anyone from touching it. Nope. Oh, it was to get the notebook. He just said... Anyway. The break-in attempts were made in order to recover the notebook that had been lying in a pool of the victim's blood. This proves the guilt of the person who made these... Oh, so it might not have been him who made the other attempts. It was the other person who wanted the notebook. If there is indeed another person. But we shall see. Oh, yes, indeed, we shall see. I also have a missing tin box. Judith Carey says that her husband took care of the garden himself. That does not sound feasible. She might be hiding something. Peter Carey had given up smoking a long time ago, but he might still have kept the pouch. Although his wife has not seen it before, she was forbidden to set foot inside the cabin. Okay, so nothing that I can do with the tin box. However, no gardener, but Peter... Oh, break-in attempts. Oh, okay, let's check. Kind of go through here and... Something about Peter Carey not being a smoker. So that pouch could be used by somebody else. But let us continue with our investigations and our experimentations. Experimentation is the hallmark of a healthy investigator.
I can always consult with it, if needed. My archive. I can always consult with it, if needed.
Suppose we don't need it just yet. Let us speak to Watson.
A spot of whaling, Watson? Would you care to take part?
Are you serious?
Serious as a heart
But
attack.
we do need to clarify what happened on the night of Black Peter's murder.
A reenactment, then? Is something bothering you?
Quite a few things,
The
actually,
sailor's
Watson.
knife, Watson. Why was it on the floor?
Peter Carey attempted to defend himself?
It is possible. But if that is the case, then it alters many things.
I don't quite follow you.
Tell me, my friend, what is the animal closest to man, morphologically, I mean?
A pig.
Ah, I see what you're getting at, Holmes. You asked me that once before. On the Ripper case, I believe. Do you want to slit some more pigs' throats?
No.
Thank goodness for that.
I wish to impale one with a harpoon.
Wonderful.
Watson, let us pay a visit to our butcher friend in Whitechapel. We require the carcass of a well-fed pig.
And the harpoon?
One of the harpoons on the wall of Black Peter's cabin should do quite nicely.
Watson, be a dear. Let me impale you with a harpoon. Alright then. Off to Whitechapel. We are always going back to Whitechapel. Bramble Pippington is quite concerned about how many times we go. Bramble Pippington is quite concerned with how many times we go to Whitechapel. Gotta go this way. I still need more evidence. I guess I'll need the boots of... I will need to find the boots of the true sperm whale. When I find the boots that fit, I shall find the boots of the sperm whale.
1883. That's the one I need. This is the crew list of the Sea Unicorn. This is the crew list of the Sea Unicorn.
So we're looking for, fuck, what was his name? Neely. That guy! Right.
Log notes for June. Nothing unusual. Log notes for July. Nothing special. Log notes for August. These pages have been torn away.
Quite interesting. It would seem that somebody desperately wished to cover up their involvement with the whaling.
Log notes for August. Canadian Pacific Railway, CPR. A torn piece from a bond certificate. I have seen this abbreviation somewhere very recently. There are 3 ways of discovering what happened in August of 1883 aboard the Sea Unicorn. The first 2 of these will require speaking with a dead man. The last would be to locate vital witnesses, the sailors involved in this whale hunt campaign.
That means we will need to find a place where sailors hang out. Huh. Bramble Bippington just got a strange feeling of deja vu. I'm sure it's nothing.
That should do it. Now I am ready for the experiment.
Task for Wiggins. The ship's logs of the Sea Unicorn for 1883. The book has a list of sailors at the beginning, and the pages for August 1883 have been torn out. A piece of a stock exchange certificate belonging to the Canadian Pacific Railway. It was found inside the Sea Unicorn ship's logs for August 1883, where the pages have been torn out. Right then, we must now go and conduct our experiment. Well done it, case closed. Yes, but we must discover how and why. It is important to know all these little links, Don. See, this is why it's very important that you listen to Bramble Bippington. He understands. We must be very thorough with our investigations. It's not enough to simply know who. We must know the why. We must know the how. We must know the when, the where, and the whys. I believe I already said why, but that's why it's so important. We need it twice. Stop looking at me like that, Watson!
Well, here we are in the preparation room. I can't say that I like the smell of it much. What do you intend to do?
To indulge myself in a little experiment. The challenge of lancing a pig's carcass with a heavy harpoon.
A little experiment?
Stand aside, Watson. This might be dangerous. I am not well practiced in this exercise. Yet.
Holmes,
Well,
you should aim for the mark in order to perform the most reliable test.
Alright, this should go just fine. Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay. Oh boy. Alright, here we go.
Holmes, you should try to aim better and throw as hard as you can.
Shut up, Watson! That was just a practice throw.
The harpoon has struck the body, but with insufficient strength to pierce it straight through.
This might take a while, everyone. Bramble Bippington is a peaceful man. He does not normally concern himself with the business of learning how to throw harpoons.
Holmes, you should try to...
A little bit.
The
Almost got
harpoon
it.
has struck the body, but with insufficient strength to pierce it straight through.
Again. There we are! Bit of practice and Bramble Bippington can figure out what to do.
This is the best possible result that I could get. Do you see, Watson? Throwing a harpoon and pinning a man to a wall requires either exceptional strength and training or diabolical luck.
If it was luck, then it was a chance in 1,000 that night.
Well, yes. Let us leave now.
All right. But before we go, I suppose I'll have to pay for all these carcasses you've happily mangled.
Very well, but please hurry.
Holmes is such a dick, Jesus Christ. So, it was a great strength requirement. Experiments prove that a similar result with a harpoon can only be achieved with extraordinary strength and/or hard training. Peter Carey's body was impaled to the wall with a harpoon through the chest. So, some of the facts may be interpreted differently. You can always change the picture of a crime by choosing... So, feat of strength. It requires a much greater strength than that of the average man to be able to pierce a man's chest with a harpoon all the way through to the wall. A degree of skill would most likely be necessary. 2 men in cooperation might achieve the same result. Or, there is a remote possibility that an unskilled and untrained man could manage to pin Peter Carey to the wall with a harpoon. I think this is probably a feat of strength. Possibly 2 people working together. All these things are, yeah. No. Alright. Let us continue on, Watson! Now, where to next? We need to find Wiggins. He should be somewhere at Baker Street. Let us return to Baker Street at once.
Something new, Watson. I have the list of sailors who were aboard the Sea Unicorn. We shall soon learn what happened to Nelligan's father. I have only to find them. Let us hope they're still working at the harbour.
Wouldn't that be a place where sailors hang out?
Scotland Yard.
I doubt it, Watson. And really, I would prefer that all of this remains quiet for now. But I have another solution. I'll call in the specialist.
And who might they be?
The secret police division of Baker Street.
Ah, you mean young Wiggins and his gang?
Yes. Believe me, you'll receive more useful assistance from these little urchins than from a dozen yard detectives.
If Wiggins had been
Those
around, they never
children
would have
are
gotten into the
everywhere.
Capitol building.
They see and hear everything, and they are cunning. All they lack is organization. I'll summon them.
How will you do that?
There is always a watch beneath our window. I have only to call him.
Are you going to whistle at him, Holmes?
Wiggins, could you come upstairs, please?
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
Wiggins, I need you to track down certain people for me. I'll give you a list. You can read, can't you?
Big Oliver from our gang. He can, because his father is the coachman of a famous lawyer.
Fascinating. Here is the list of sailors.
Sailors? Easy. Just got to look where the rum and the red lights are.
See, Wiggins knows what's up. He knows
Sorry
what's
to
up.
trouble you, Mr. Holmes, but the inspector asks that you come to the station as soon as possible.
Thank you. I'll be there shortly.
Well, it would seem that we are being summoned by the inspector. Watson, would you like to join us? You seem like you're enjoying that cup of tea, but perhaps you'd like to join us on a little jaunt outside? Get some fresh air? It'd be good for you, you know.
Good gracious, you caught someone. At least now you have a suspect.
And he seems quite taken with his tea, so... Very well, Watson, but do try to get out and walk about a bit. A little bit of vitamin D is good for you. Especially as we live in this alternate universe where people don't have to wear masks. And they can go out without worrying about a pandemic. Oh god, I just made myself sad. Anyway. Off to Scotland Yard, everyone! Thought Holmes was the shut-in. Well, I'm not Holmes, Mr. Crystal, remember. I am the great Bramble Pippington. Bramble Pippington likes to get at least 1 hour of exercise every day.
Mr. Holmes, I'm glad to see you.
As always, what happened?
We have a new suspect, Liam Hurtley. I'm thinking that this case will be resolved very quickly now.
Interesting. Pray tell.
Well, the constable that I left at Woodman's Lee noticed a suspicious individual prowling around during the night.
Do you have him here?
Yes. He refuses to speak with us, but we'll make him talk.
Let us hope so.
Ah, yes, and one more thing. The constable told me that at the time of his arrest, the fellow was writing a letter.
Do you have it?
Of course. It's in the evidence room, at your disposal. Admit that for once, Mr. Holmes, Scotland Yard is a step ahead of you, eh?
Breathtaking.
Oh, Holmes, let the young man have his moment. It was quite wise of Inspector Lestrade to leave a guard there. Come on now, give him a little pat on the head. He deserves it. It would seem that Hurtley has some boots here. Let us inspect them.
These are the suspect's belongings. The stains are fresh. They can be removed with the proper chemicals. A pen. Nothing unusual about it.
However, we do know that this individual was capable of reading and writing.
Liam Hurtley's old boots. They're a size 9.5.
Well, we shall take this evidence and we shall see what all we can do with it. First off, we will take these boots and check them against the footprints at Woodman's Lee. And also, we shall look at this no doubt rather scandalous letter. I'm quite excited to look at it, aren't you all? Ho ho ho! This is of course a joke. This is a joke to which Bramble Pippington does not condone the prying of people into one's personal private affairs. However, the person is arrested and the other person is dead, so it's okay in this situation.
These boots match the footprints exactly.
Well, 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 we might have found our individual. Could it be, mayhaps, good fellows, that we have found our sperm whale? Indeed, we have found our own Moby Dick. Ho ho ho! So Liam Hurtley's boots match the footprints at Woodman's Lee exactly. Liam Hurtley's boots match the footprints at Woodman's Lee, thus proving that he was there. Judith Carey denies he was their gardener. Can't do anything with any of the other stuff. Now we shall return over to Baker Street so that we may investigate this letter. Perhaps the gardener was a sperm whale, Mr. Crystal. Maybe the sperm whale spent many years as their gardener in order to gain Peter Carey's trust. Maybe you didn't think about that. Once again, Bramble Pippington, a step ahead of everyone. I am shook. Indeed you are, Mr. Crystal. Stand aside, Watson, if you don't mind. I have much analysis. I must analyze things. Don't look at me up there like that. Go back to your paper.
I need to prepare a chemical agent that is capable of removing fresh ink. For this purpose, the chemicals from the flasks should be combined in a certain order to perform a chain reaction. First
Quite
condition,
fond of chain reactions.
all 7 reagents should be used. Second condition, orange reagent should be the third one in the sequence after the blue reagent. Third condition, colorless reagent should be added after the orange reagent.
Well, this should be fun. Well, then let us start with the blue reagent. And once that's done, we have to use 2 other agents before we can use the orange reagent. Supposedly. Try the green reagent. We have another one we will need to use. Colorless goes after orange. Maybe we use it and then use the orange and then use the colorless? I don't think this is right. Reset that. Yeah, pretty sure that's not right. Alright. So... blue. Although there's nothing saying that the blue reagent is our first.
I need to prepare a chemical agent.
Let's do like what we were doing. Just gotta see it through to the end and see what he says.
No, something isn't right. I need to start the reaction from the beginning again.
Alright then. Luckily I've got this magical thing. Okay, so... blue... try green again. Colorless one. Orange. Colorless. Do orange. And then blue again?
No, something isn't right.
Oh, that's actually probably right, Mr. Crystal. I guess I could put another blue in there, maybe. Well, let's try your idea, Crystal. Blue. Green. Blue. And orange. Orange colorless, orange colorless. There's gotta be... we'll just try this. We're just gonna go with Crystal's idea. This is the moment when Bramble Pippington must admit to you all that for all of his other abilities and skills, Bramble Pippington is, in fact, colorblind.
Done. Now I can proceed further.
Thank you, Mr. Crystal.
Let us see if the content of this letter sheds a little light upon the mystery.
Oh my!
I did as you asked and hid them well. Interesting. How would Hurtley react to this?
I did as you asked and hit them well, but I beg you to reconsider. Ion, and remember our vows. I've done nothing dishonorable for which you me. Great Scott, everyone! Bramble Pippington might have been incorrect as to the motive of this murder. Could it be that all along, Mr. Carey was carrying out an illicit affair with the sperm whale? Well then. Well, I suppose I should say, well then. Bramble Pippington sincerely apologizes and if you all wish to leave them, Bramble Pippington completely understands. Well, it would seem that we now have some questions for Mr. Hurtley. Let us investigate this. Post haste! Away, everyone! Follow Bramble Pippington! Also, we'll open up the deduction thing. Take a look. We got a missing tin box and a letter talking about hiding things. Oh, I seriously thought that was, seriously thought that those two were linked. Yeah, nope. Okay, well then. That shows how stupid I am. Very glad that I did that in the carriage where no one could see my embarrassing failure. Not that Bramble Pippington is adverse to failure. Learning from failure is how one improves. Or something like that. Anyway. You, Liam, let's talk.
Please escort this suspect for interrogation. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I would like to ask you a few questions.
I've already told the police that I've nothing to say. And you're not even part of the police.
Precisely.
How dare you!
And considering your situation, it might be wise to speak with someone who is, shall we say, rather more neutral. You are a suspect in a murder case.
I know. Inspector Lestrade told me. It's ridiculous.
Could you at least tell me who you are, and exactly what happened that you should be brought here?
My name is Liam Hurtley. That I can tell you. But you're not getting any more than that.
Well, my name is Bramble Pippington. And you, my good sir, have more than met your match. Let us investigate you quite thoroughly now. There's an old scar on his face that I can't actually see, but I'll take... Oh, there it is! Yeah, that's a little bit more prominent. Carries a handkerchief with a crested tit. Oh my. He also has plant remains upon his pants. He's got his... Oh my, everyone! Bramble Pippington was entirely incorrect! 'Twas not Peter Carey carrying out the illicit affair with the sperm whale! 'Twas Mrs. Carey! Oh my! You old dog! So we have indeed found our sperm whale, and what bountiful sperm he has to give us!
Tell me, Mr. Hurtley, what were you doing at Woodman's Lee?
Woodman's Lee? I've never been there.
Backhands the motherfucker! Absolutely not! Your boots match perfectly to the footprints on the ground!
The second pair of boots that you had with you when you were arrested perfectly match the footprints found near the cabin where Peter Carey was murdered.
Footprints? That's your proof? How many men have boots like mine? That doesn't make me a murderer.
But it does mean that you had a presence at Woodman's Lee, and you shall reveal your reasons for being there at once, or I shall strike you again!
Now that your presence at Woodman's Lee has been proven, would you care to explain it?
I don't remember. What would I be doing there anyway?
I can think of a few things you would be doing. Yes, you are the gardener. You are the gardener at Woodman's Lee.
Because you are the gardener at Woodman's Lee.
I'm not. How did you...
I observed your hands. They told me that you work with the earth. Small fragments of plants snagged to your trousers indicate that you were mowing very recently. But the most obvious clue presented itself in the bird embroidered on your handkerchief. A crested tit, if I'm not mistaken.
All right, you got me. Yes, I am a gardener, and I went there to get my tools.
Did you now? Why don't you tell me what you hid, and more importantly, who you hid it for?
So tell me, Mr. Hurtley, what did you hide?
Hide? What are you talking about?
Enough of this lying to me! Bramble Pippington shall take no more of your lies. I've already read your letter.
I did as you asked, and hid them well. Should I continue?
My letter? But the ink? That's impossible.
A touch of chemistry, nothing special.
Well, you're a smart one, but it's nothing. If you want to know, I was referring to my tools. It was to do with my work, see?
Oh, so you were hiding your tools?
Mr. Hurtley.
Were you hiding your
That's all for now.
tools, Mr.
Hurtley's
Hurtley?
stories
Mr.
are
Hurtley?
false leads. But now I know one thing for certain. I must examine the site where the garden tools are kept at Woodman's Lee.
Mr. Hurtley? Were you hiding your tools? Were you playing a lovely game of hide the tools with Mrs. Carey? I believe that you were. You! While I'm away, good sir, Mr. Policeman, I want you to take this man out back and give him a sound thrashing. I know the policeman unions don't exist yet, but don't worry, there's still no accountability within the police. There will never be accountability. Anyway, let us continue. According to Hurtley's letter, and by his own words, he hid something at the spot where the garden tools are kept. He is a gardener at Woodman's Lee, so I should definitely conduct a search. Hurtley is indeed our sperm whale, and what bountiful sperm he has to give. Hurtley is a stranger who was arrested by the police as a suspicious individual seen prowling around at night near Woodman's Lee. He is a former soldier who left the military with an honorable discharge after having been wounded in the neck by shrapnel. Now he lives a quiet life working as a gardener. Oh, a quiet life indeed! Back to Woodman's Lee, everyone. There are indeed a lot of sperm whales in this town, Caroline, but, you know, what better place to restart your life after the life of a sperm whale? What better place to get a new, fresh start than London? The answer to that question is literally anywhere else. Why the hell is anyone coming here? This place is awful. Somebody get Bramble Pippington out of here. Now let us investigate. I believe that our best likelihood of finding anything will be somewhere up here. Is there something? Nope. Okay. Seems we have a locked door here.
Locked.
Mrs. Carey, I find that I need to enter into that shed. Tell me about Liam Hurtley, please.
Does the name Liam Hurtley mean anything to you?
No, I don't know anyone by that name.
Madam, you're going to make me break out the old bramble bitch slap on you if you do not cooperate. The bramble bitch slap, you really don't want to face it. It's quite unpleasant, I've heard.
Madam, we have information that the valuable stolen papers are hidden amongst the garden tools here at Woodman's Lee. We need to find them.
Oh my. Our tools are kept inside the shed that's right behind me. Here is the key to open it.
Thank you, madam.
Bramble Pippington knows what you're up to. You whore! I'm very sorry. That was extremely rude of Bramble Pippington. No one should ever refer to someone that way. It's just incredibly rude, no matter the circumstances. Twitch audience, please don't refer to women that way. It's quite rude. It's quite uncouth. That was really not. That's not the behavior that I expect of myself. My apologies, madam. Anyway, continuing on.
Let's see what could be hidden here.
Look at the floor. There seem to be wooden planks. One of them is ill-fitting. Interesting. Well, 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 what have we here? Oh no, it's gonna be a puzzle to open it. God damn it. Mrs. Carey, I must admit, your ability to have an illicit affair with a literal whale is most impressive.
Let us see what is in this box.
I missed the instructions. Oh dear. Oh well, I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay, well that was nowhere near as horrific as I thought it was gonna be. Take these letters.
A bundle of letters in a woman's hand with the Carey family monogram. Hurtley and Mrs. Carey were in a relationship. That is interesting.
Aha! Mrs. Carey! I have confirmed what I already suspected, that you were the one carrying out the illicit affair with the sperm whale. Which again, as Gas Guardian said, most impressive. How on earth did you do it? Must admit, Bramble Pippington himself is quite confused by this. Anyway, Liam, my dear, you have been so good to me all the time I have known you. I cannot describe these feelings, but I suppose that they are sinful and no good can come from them. I fear what might happen. I fear going against God. I thank you for your care, but I cannot leave the man with whom I have been bound by God. It is his divine will, and thus my husband is the cross that I must bear. He makes my life a living hell, but bruises fade, and you must not worry for me. Oh dear. Romantic correspondence between Liam Hadley and Judith Carey was found inside the small wooden box hidden in the garden shed. Well, it would seem that Miss Carey was being brutally harmed by her husband. And so she knew that life as a whaler's wife simply wasn't for her. She needed the exact opposite. Where a whaler would be coarse and uncouth and brutal, a sperm whale would be kind, would be gentle, and would be very couth.
Madam, I am aware of your affinity with Liam Hurtley.
Oh, what are you talking about?
Madam, I may sympathize with your current predicament, but I swear to God, I will actually break out the Bramble bitch slap on you if you keep jerking me around. Anyway, there was romantic correspondence between you and Hurtley.
Mrs. Carey, we found your letters.
My letters? I asked Liam to return them to me. I wanted to burn them.
Why did Mr. Hurtley put them inside the garden shed?
I don't know. I wanted them back, but I couldn't see him, not after what happened.
Well, here they are.
Oh, this is terrible. Terrible. Liam, how could he? After what he has done.
You believe that he killed your husband?
No, I do not know. I do not know. Leave me alone, please.
Thank you, madam. I wonder if Wiggins has managed to find any sailors.
Madam, I wish to inform you that God understands. He understands the innate superiority of the Whales. Now then, let us continue. Judith Carey's confession. Judith Carey begins to cry and says that she cannot forgive Hurtley for what he has done, even though she still loves him. It's been confirmed that Liam Hurtley was flirting with Peter Carey's wife and even fell in love, but it didn't go beyond the affectionate but harmless letters and words. More of an emotional affair. Hurtley's presence at Woodman's Lee on the night of the murder is explained by his affection toward Judith Carey and the fact that he worked there as a gardener. It would seem that we may be incorrect in our idea that it was the sperm whale. Well then. Sorry, whale then! Haha! Again, I apologize. It could actually be either one. It could be the harmless flirting, or it could be desperate jealousy. Liam Hurtley loved Judith Carey so desperately that his jealousy could have provoked him into committing murder. Potentially. Potentially. Let's get a little bit more evidence before we make a conclusion on that one. Still need to find out about this place where sailors hang out. Let us return to Baker Street and see if Wiggins has found anything for us. He could still be the sperm whale, just maybe not the sperm whale. Indeed, Gascardian, indeed.
Mr. Holmes, we found the sailors from that list you gave us.
Well done, Wiggins. Let me see.
Hugh Patton's sailor, James Lancaster, helmsman, Patrick Cairns, harpooner, and Pablo Coventrao, who was also a harpooner, but he died a week ago. But his initials are PC. Patrick Cairns' initials are also PC.
This man is a harpooner, and his initials are PC, the same initials that were found on the tobacco pouch.
We also have our dead individual.
Wiggins, could you gather some information on one of the sailors that you found? His name is Patrick Cairns.
We found Patrick Cairns.
Good job, Wiggins. Where is he?
In the
He
grave.
lives in a small furnished dump of a room, but he's always at the Sea Witch pub, where he does arm wrestles for money and drinks.
Arm wrestles, you say?
Here is your
Well
reward.
then.
2 guineas.
Thank you, sir.
I begin to think this town is a sperm whale well, in this particular case, this would actually be one of the sailors. I mean, sperm whales do what they must to survive, but I don't think that a sperm whale would go to the lengths of actually hunting his own kind. That would be quite horrific, actually. So, Patrick Cairns lives nearby in a cheap room in the suburbs. He can regularly be found at the Sea Witch pub, where he arm wrestles for money and drinks. Very interesting. Let us investigate. Watson, would you like to come with us? No? Very well then. Drink your pitiful tea. You make me sad. I think there might be something else I have to deduce. Oh, the non-smoking thing. There we go. So, if the pouch belongs to Patrick Cairns, then it indicates his presence at the crime scene, but this must still be proven. Let's go and speak to this Mr. Cairns.
If
Last
I wish
chance,
to speak
Watson.
to Cairns without alarming him, I had better dress as a sailor.
Ah, excellent! We shall now go undercover, everyone! Bramble Pippington's favorite thing to do. He loves going undercover and creating new characters. Right, a sailor outfit. Then to the makeup table. I believe a sailor would not wear a top hat, even though it is quite dashing on me. No, instead, Bramble Pippington must wear his appropriate hair. Bramble Pippington is not afraid to let his bald spot show. And also, let's go ahead and put on the mutton chops. Oh yes, that looks quite good.
Now I can approach Cairns and see if he recognizes the pouch.
Apparently we're missing something at the jail.
Can't leave here dressed like this.
I beg your pardon, good sir. Alright, okay, so I have to go to the... I have to go there if I'm dressed like this. Okay, fine. Yes, right, well, we need a identity now. I am now, instead of Bramble Pippington, I am... Captain Sir Nightinghood Jonathan. That is my name. Captain Sir Nightinghood Jonathan. Yes. I've commanded many a voyage, including one to the Antarctic, where everyone died, including myself. I'm a ghost. Boo! Tell me everything you know. See if we can find our man. Probably gonna be someone who's smoking a pipe? Possibly? Maybe not, because he left his tobacco behind? Hello, Mr. Cairns. My name is Captain Sir Nightinghood Jonathan. I'm a ghost, and I will terrify the living piss out of you if you don't tell me everything I need to know. But rest assured, despite the fact that I'm a ghost, I can still deliver one hell of a backhand.
Hello there. Are you Cairns?
What do you want?
We've heard all about the gambling on arm wrestling here. You seem like the likely sort, and I'm up for it.
I start at 10 shillings.
Suits me.
Oh dear, I think this is gonna be a minigame. Follow Patrick Cairns' facial expressions to understand his moves. Push, restrain, and idle, and plan your counter strategy. Oh dear! Oh boy! This should be fun. Okay, when he's doing that, I gotta... Oh, okay, no. Okay, yeah, Okay, when he starts making that face, then I gotta... No! I'm holding! Good lord! Yeah, he's gonna get me on this, because I'm not quite sure what I'm doing. Stop vibrating! Stop vibrating! Controller, Jesus.
That's the arm that killed 100 whales. Care to lose another 10 shillings?
I'm quite fond of losing 10 shillings, actually. Let us... Hold on. Let us investigate you first. A gold earring. Cheap clothing. Quite strong hands. Nails are yellow, no doubt from tobacco use, and a sailor's tattoo.
I'm ready to try again.
I'm gonna try one more. I'm gonna try
If
again.
you want me to take all your money, no problem with that.
Try this again. I have no idea what I'm doing, guys. Nope, nope, nope. Nope. Come on! Oh! Yes! Mm!
You were lucky. I wasn't focused. Let's go again.
Oh, good sir. Instead, you're going to tell me all I need to know. Or you shall endure the bramble bitch slap. Not bramble. Sir Captain Nightinghood Jonathan bitch slap. Yes, that's what I meant.
I've had enough. You're too strong.
Come back later when you can use your arms again.
Kind of a smartass for a guy who just lost, but okay. Alright. Patrick Cairns is an experienced harpooner currently facing unemployment and poverty. He can be found most often in the Sea Witch, a public house deemed popular by the sailors whom he arm wrestles for money. Like many of his kind, he's a heavy smoker, indicated by his yellow fingernails. I do feel like we flexed on that sailor, I must say. We found him. I want to talk with him now. Do I have to arm wrestle him again? I don't want to arm wrestle him again! Ah! I don't want to do it again! I feel like I got really, really lucky that first time! Bullshit. Okay. I guess let's go again.
I'm ready to try again.
Fine. If you want me to take all your money, no problem with that.
Guess I need to take money back from him. I don't know. Okay, I think I get it, maybe? Maybe? Maybe. So when he gets that look, when his teeth show, okay, his teeth show, he's gonna push back. And that's his just holding face. Now he's pushing back. You don't want to push whenever he's got that face. Okay.
Well, good for you, I reckon. You're stronger than you look. Here's your 10 shillings.
I'd like to buy you a drink.
Good winner as well. That's good. Let's have a drink.
Let's have all the drinks.
You're a good type. Seems you've managed to settle down in life. You've got money, eh?
Can you tell by my haircut?
Oh, well. At least you're not as poor as me.
Why do you say poor? You're not working?
I'm a harpooner. But you see, the whalers are rare. They don't pay much. So, as a result, find myself arm wrestling to pay for my drink.
A harpooner. Interesting. You've had a lot of adventures, I bet.
Of course. It's been a dozen years since I've sailed. I've seen everything. Old Wallace, damn Black Peter, Great Roger. We sailed to the Cape of Good Hope.
Tell me more about this Black Peter of who you speak.
Black Peter, you say? I've heard rumors about that one.
He was the worst of them all. He was a liar and violent too. Swinging those fists of his around. He was a tyrant and not much of a captain. At least, not as good as Great Roger.
I see. Yes. I was told terrible tales about Black Peter.
But you ain't heard the worst.
Let me buy you another drink, good sir.
Tell me, and let's have another drink.
It was in 1883 that it happened. The August of that year. Peter Carey was captain of the Sea Unicorn, and I was a spare harpooner. We were coming out of the ice pack on our way home. One evening, we saw a little craft that had been blown north. There was only one man on her, and he wasn't a sailor. The crew must have thought that she'd foundered, and they made for the Norwegian coast in the dinghy. I guess they all drowned. We took the man on board.
And who was this man?
And who was he?
I dunno. During the crossing, he and the skipper enjoyed some long talks. His baggage was just a tin box.
That's strange enough.
Aye. Even stranger was that on the second night, he disappeared. Nobody knew what happened to him. And of course, nobody could ask Black Peter about it.
I believe that I might know, I think I might know where Black Peter got all of his money.
You know what happened, don't you?
I do. I saw the skipper tie his heels and push him over the rail in the middle of my watch on that dark night. 2 days before we sighted the Shetland lights.
Black Peter's a murderer.
Aye. Those that know him wouldn't be surprised to hear it. But all this must stay between us. All right?
Of course.
Well then, guess we're gonna plant a pouch and go to the toilet.
Back in a second. I'm off to the Kazi.
I'll be here with my drink.
Here it is.
So Peter Carey was trying to conceal the murder of John Nilligan's father. And Patrick Cairns told the story of how in August 1883 he observed Peter Carey throwing a man overboard. The man had been saved from the sea only the previous night. The man was obviously Joshua Nilligan.
Huh, that's weird. Suddenly I feel like I'm being
Yell it, girl!
followed.
Thank you very much for the follow. It's very awesome of you.
Have you got any tobacco? I've run out of mine.
Nah, a
lost my pouch. I don't know where. Wait a minute. What's this?
Oh, is this your tobacco pouch?
Well, oh, it is.
Well, how lucky for you! Anyway.
Well, I have to go now. I know a captain who's planning an expedition to Cape Cod. Captain Ahab's his name. He commanded the Pequod. He might need good harpooners. I'll tell him about you.
Maybe. If you like,
You're such a dick, Sherlock! Holy shit!
It's time to leave.
Right then. Gala girl, thank you very much for the follow. Bramble Pippington appreciates that from the bottom of his heart. Now we have determined the owner of the pouch. We must continue on and find our possibly killer sperm whale. Also, still need to figure out what's going on with this strange bond certificate. But first, back to Baker Street. We cannot continue walking around in these shabby sailor's clothing. We must change to something different. How is Bramble? Bramble is hungry. But I think we're coming up on finding out the answers to this mystery. Yeah, I read Moby Dick. How's your tea, Watson? Never mind, I don't care. So then, seem to have changed back into a more casual suit. But we are not in our prop. I won't let us wear it! Oh, come on, game. That's not nice. Oh, then Bramble Pippington shall have to make himself as fancy as possible. That's shit. That's shit. That sounds really awesome, Kayla. I know that Grandma's making chicken sandwiches. How many spicy chicken sandwiches is she making? Anyway, back to Scotland Yard. Seems we have something there that we must find. Peter Cairns' pouch, which belonged to him, which proves he was at the scene of the murder. So, this could prove his guilt, but it could also prove that he was at the scene. It does prove that he was at least there. And if it was him who was there, he definitely could have done that harpoon trick by himself. Eh.
These are the suspect's belongings. I wonder if these are connected.
Number 8532. Here we go. 8532 CPR.
Now we have the proof that Nelligan's papers were indeed here. It seems that they have vanished, however.
Seem to have been his bond papers. Interesting. Missing papers were probably in that missing tin box. Nope. So, valuable bond certificates were kept inside the stolen tin box, and that's no doubt where Carey's wealth came from. John Nelligan could have been caught stealing the bond certificates, and that might have been a motive for him to murder Peter Carey. That'd be an impressive murder, I'm not gonna lie. Like, a hell of a murder. And Nelligan could have also been looking for his father's papers inside of Black Peter's cabin, which would explain his presence at the scene of the murder. John Nelligan could have been caught stealing the bond certificates. This might have been a motive for him to murder Peter Carey. Or he could have been a victim of circumstance. He doesn't fit the portrait of the murderer either by physical or psychological description, which that is true. And if the pouch proves that Cairns did commit the murder, then that would leave us in a situation where Cairns would be our guilty one. Because he's a professional harpooner, and his pouch was found inside the cabin. But also, Liam Hurtley could be our murderer. Because him being in a relationship with Judith gave him a motive for killing Peter. He could have a motive too. If the pouch only proves a visit, then that would also mean that this would have to have been a lucky throw. That's a hell of a lucky throw, not gonna lie. Yeah, 2 sandwiches, please, Kayla. I haven't eaten hardly anything today, so 2 sandwiches sound great. So it could have been her. I really don't think it was Nelligan. I just don't see that. Hurley's got the greatest motive, I think. At least if Nelligan shows up and finds all this stuff. Again, that'd be a really lucky throw. Like, Jesus Christ. That is a hell of a throw if he managed that. It could have been caught stealing those certificates. And retrieving the notebook. That would also mean that Hurtley was just flirting with the wife. Childhood was overshadowed by the loss of his father. He always dreamed of a reunion to find out what had happened. He made a poor decision and so fell into trouble. Huh. Thank you, Kayla. A Bramble Bibbington goes by he, him pronouns. Thank you for asking, Kayla. I'm glad work's done, Reaper. Okay, so which one is our killer, guys? I think the greatest motive probably would have been... Again, that's a really fucking lucky throw. Like an insanely lucky one. There was the speculation that 2 men in cooperation could have performed the same feat. So if there's a possibility that both Hurtley and Neeligan could have done it? Maybe? So it could have been them both. John Hopley and Liam Hurtley conspired together to murder Peter Carey. Neeligan as revenge for Carey's theft, and Hurtley out of jealousy and love for Carey's wife. Now the question is, who's the instigator? I think it would have been Neeligan would have been the instigator, the initiator, because he showed up. Okay, I'm thinking that maybe Neeligan found out what had happened to his father, traced it back to Carey, and he wanted Carey dead, and he enlisted Hurtley as his accomplice to help him do it because Hurtley was stronger than him. And so, working together, they could have done the harpoon thing. Okay, that's what I think. I think it's 2 murderers, Neeligan being the initiator. How close am I, Phoenix? Because I don't think... Why would Hurtley pull Neeligan into it? You know, that's the thing. I know why Hurtley would want him dead, but why would he get Neeligan involved? Neeligan has a reason for getting Hurtley involved, because Hurtley is stronger, so it could help him with the thing. I think that might be the answer. But yeah, Phoenix, if you don't mind, how close am I to the answer? Find whose boot? Yes, it was Hurtley's boots at the scene. Which is also explained by him, you know, being a gardener, but... The certs are missing? Oh, that's true. That's right! The certificates are missing. So Neeligan could still be a victim of circumstance. And he could have just been looking for his father's papers. But yeah, you're right. Why was Cairns there? So Hurley could actually be innocent, and it could have been Cairns working by himself. Or Neeligan and Cairns working together. Hang on. I'm just kind of flipping around on this. No. So no, if I convict, right, there were only 2 cups. Which he would have had a cup with the guy that he knew. So why would he have a cup with, why would he have a drink with Neeligan? That makes no sense. So it was Cairns. Cairns would have been our murderer. He might have gone to him to confront him about what had happened. And then Carrie got violent. And Cairns was like, well, fuck it. He's dead. I might as well take his shit. And what's his butt could have just left that thing behind at another time. Maybe. So maybe it was... I kind of liked the idea of those 2 guys being in cahoots, though. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of liked that idea. But looks like it might be Cairns. Yeah, Carrie could have tried to silence, like, once Cairns, like, spoke to him about it, he might have been like, oh shit, I gotta kill you. Either way, I don't think that Cairns showed up wanting to kill him. I think that... Yeah, and Carrie was armed, and he had pulled his knife. Alright, we'll go with this was a self-defense thing. I don't think he went there planning on killing him, but things just kind of played out that way. Everything's gone silent as Bramble Pippington has deduced many things today. The next day.
Good afternoon. I must be at the wrong address.
Oh, I'd like to speak with the ship's captain. A captain. Oh shit! Audio? The audio? Audio? Maybe that's under the music volume?
Ahab, is that you?
I'd like to speak with a Captain
No,
Ahab. Is that you?
my name
No,
is
my name is
Sherlock
Sherlock Holmes. My name is Bramble Tippington.
fella?
That detective fellow.
You
So,
wanted to see
you wanted
me?
to see me?
That is
correct.
We
We
need
need
to
to talk.
About
About what? About Black Peter, who was killed in his own hut with a harpoon. You know, don't you?
Yes.
Yes.
How?
How?
The tobacco pouch.
You recognized it. Sailor, it was you. Unbelievable.
It was you.
Well, fine, I confess. If you really do know everything, you should also know that I didn't want to kill him. He made me do it.
I confess. But if you really do know everything...
Yes, Bramble
you should
Pippington
also
does know all of
I
this.
didn't want to kill him. He made me do it.
I guess that
I know.
took one. I know. Do you know about the story with the bond certificates? Did you need money?
Did you need money?
Or did you know about the bond
Yeah.
Yes.
I just
I wanted to cough up a little silver. I'm out of work and I thought maybe he could help me. But he refused outright and he insulted me.
Could help me.
So, I reminded him.
Outright. And he
Told him I knew all about that murder he committed at sea in 1883.
At sea in 1883. Then he got mad.
Then he got mad when I spoke about his treasure. I barely had time to throw the harpoon at him before he could jump at me with his knife. You know the truth. What will you do now?
I ask that you return the bond certificates.
Oh, you guys can hear the
Keep some of them.
Weird.
You will need them in your exile. It is better that you leave the country for a few years.
And you won't say anything to the police?
I will not say anything as long as you return the money.
Well,
Did my head
I'll do as
slip?
you ask. But what about Inspector Lestrade?
I will deal with him. Goodbye.
I couldn't hear the actors,
It's good
so
that
I
you
thought
asked me
nobody
to
else
come,
could.
Mr. Holmes. We do need to talk.
About what?
What do you mean? Our case, Mr. Holmes. You sent me a message via your little thug,
His name is Wiggins, Inspector.
telling me that the case is solved. Well, Mr. Holmes, tell me, who is our murderer and where is he?
The morgue.
Eh?
His name is, or rather was, Pablo Coventry.
Ah, that's why I knew
He was
about the
also
other
on the ship
harpooner.
with Peter Carey, and he was a harpooner. I'll tell you everything, Inspector, but do calm down. Mrs. Hudson will bring us tea and orange
Tea and
cake.
orange cake sounds rather nice.
Orange cake? You're spoiling me, Mr. Holmes. That's
Oh my
favourite.
god, this guy. He's like, ooh, orange cake? Well then.
Ah, Mr. Holmes. Inspector Lestrade told me that I should thank you for clearing my name. He also said that you were waiting for me here. I came as fast as I could. I cannot thank you enough.
I don't know why,
It's
for
all
some
because
reason
of
I'm
you
not
that
getting
this
any
nightmare
audio.
is finally over.
Oh, well.
I believe that this belongs to you.
My father's securities. Incredible! But how did you get them?
It would take far too long to explain.
Tell me. This is extraordinary. You are a genius.
Then that may serve as an explanation. Goodbye, Mr. Nelligan, and good luck.
Goodbye, Mr. Holmes. And thank you. 1,000 times thank you.
Okay then. So Peter Carey was murdered by Patrick Cairns, a professional harpooner, the only one capable of executing such an accurate throw. His tobacco pouch was found inside Carey's cabin, but the murder was in self-defense against an armed and furious drunken sailor. You have decided to absolve Patrick Cairns. Hold to check your conclusion. Yep. He was guilty. So, alright. Well, we will accept that decision. You're about to finish the case. If the save files for this case will be removed. Yeah, nope. Let's. Alright, continue. Okay, so achievement unlocked Aye, Captain. And I'm not sure why. Oh, I bet I know what's going on. I bet it's something with my. I bet I know exactly what happened. Anyway. So. Hang on, let's.
This trip.
We're gonna go back to the main menu. Alright, so I should have more time tomorrow. I'm supposed to at least. We'll see what happens, but So my plan is tomorrow, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to continue Sherlock Holmes Crime and Punishment. Yeah, I think I know exactly what happened. My audio engine probably got all out of whack. Alright, so I'll be continuing that tomorrow. Thank you guys for coming out. I know things got a little bit crazy there, and it was a little weird, but I appreciate you guys hanging in there. That really means a lot to me. Let me see if anyone I know is... I'm pretty sure that I can find someone who's live. Let's do... I'll tell you what. Yeah, I'm gonna send you guys over to Doxy. Josiah is streaming right now. He is playing The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. So go hang out with Josiah. He's really, really cool. And let him know our raid message is Bramble Pippington is here to solve the case. That's the raid message. I'm gonna give you guys a minute to type that out so you can copy that. But Bramble Pippington is here to solve the case. And we have solved the case. Yeah, go check out Josiah. He's really awesome. He does fantastic. He's a DM. He does fantastic campaigns. So go say hi. Thank you guys for coming out. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for being so patient with the technical difficulties. I will see y'all tomorrow, and we will have even more of Bramble Pippington. Farewell, fine fellows and lady fellows. Goodbye.